Japan, China, North and South Korea. After genocides, is peace possible? My dear readers and friends, ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know me yet, I'm Bayemy Biyick, theoretical researcher and author of the Paekche'sPrinciple, a historical, rational and operative law that coherently restructures the history of Asia and offers effective and lasting solutions to the Korean Peninsula issues and tensions and multiple puzzles of the national histories of Japan, North Korea, South Korea and China. Now, I will be simple, clear and straightforward. Since 2014 and the conclusions of my basic research program on the antiquity of Northeast Asia, we precisely know the origin of the ongoing political, economic and military tensions between North and South Korea, Japan and China. It is the genocide of tens of millions of the black ancestors of the Japanese who once lived in Kudara, an African culture-centered kingdom then located at the current site of South Korea. The whole country will be surrounded by the armies of China and Shilla, that is South Koreans, so that no one escapes before being totally destroyed and burned to ashes. All inhabitants were exterminated as well as animals. This genocide was conceived, planned, financed, organized, and executed between 658 and 660 AD by China, with white supremacy as its political and religious ideology. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear readers and friends, here is the source, the origin of all tragedies which will occur for 14 centuries until today between Japan and its neighboring countries. Share this video to get a debate, a public debate in South Korea, North Korea, China and Japan. Those who know these historical facts will speak more freely and politicians will be more daring in the actions and solutions proposed. This genocide of Kudara people, ancestors of the Japanese, followed a period of more than 1,000 years of mass killings, systematic destruction and looting by China of great black kingdoms of African culture, then located in the Southeast, Central and Northeast Asia. The survivors, mainly scholars whom China needed for the understanding and translation of loathed scientific texts of the original Buddhism, would be enslaved. China would seize those countries' long and rich history, their cultural, scientific and industrial heritage. This generalized looting and related goods trafficking took place at continental scale along major routes militarily controlled by China, the Silk Roads. Those Silk Roads were rather the roads of blood and death, as much blood flowed everywhere, and at every corner death lurked. Thus, the Japanese are the only nation that could survive after that very long period of genocides, and their archipelago is only the remaining maritime part of what used to be the Great Kudara Kingdom. According to my 20-year research findings, it is the survivors of those massacres who, over the centuries fleeing towards the east and the peninsula, would be the founders of Kudara Kingdom with some native peoples of the peninsula. The kingdom will later be extended beyond the sea to the west part of the land that is known today as Japan. Kudara, a political and cultural experience unique in humankind history, would experience a meteoric rise to become, in a few centuries, the most brilliant civilization in Asia history. Kudara is Asia's historical Middle Kingdom, not China. Those are the events that will be erased from Asia history by China. My dear readers and friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is essential that we reclaim this real fact of history. Sharing this video with our families, our friends, and colleagues across Asia and the world will radically change the outlook and the way to understand and resolve the tensions in the Korean Peninsula. There are many more historical facts, such as the transfer of all scientific, cultural, official, and popular traditions from Kudara by China to Li Zhongye, the founder of the Korean Joseon dynasty at the end of the 14th century. His successors will engage in the forced Africanization of the Korean kingdom and Korean people, whose currently official traditions are those of Kudara and not Shilla, who are their true ancestors. The most visible and obvious example is the writing system known as Hangul, currently used in North and South Korea, and which is in fact Kudara people's intellectual property. You will find both the results and detailed demonstrations of this scientific research program in my book, Paekche'sPrinciple, The Great Secret of Asia. It is available on lulu.com, lulu.com, in English and French, and soon in other languages. Official governmental institutions or agencies in Japan, China, North and South Korea received my work as soon as the research article was published in 2014. They had 5 years to assess it and for taking useful actions or measures before I could widely disseminate my theory. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear readers and friends, in order to provoke a public debate in China, South Korea, North Korea, and Japan, I ask you to widely share this video so that the personalities and organizations who work to solve this problem will have more freedom and find more room for action for a viable and long-term solution. Thank you very much for your collective and personal commitment to serve this noble cause.